Uh, Diamond, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
I can hear you perfectly. Can you guys hear Diamond? Can you give me a mic check real quick? Like, just say something.
Oh, mic check?
Okay, let me make sure that I can hear you on this end, and we should be good to go. That's actually perfect.
Okay,
I guess this
great.
is okay. Diamond, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
I can hear you perfectly. Can you guys? Okay, I think everybody should be able to hear you. I was able to listen from my phone. I think we're good. Okay, would you like to tell me um, what your position is with this particular story, and what is it that you want to share with us?
Sure. I want to thank you first for the opportunity for me to say a few words about this. I'm Trinity's aunt. I'm her biological father's sister. And one thing I want to make clear is that my brother, Trinity's biological father, is completely innocent in all this. He did everything he possibly could to try and help Trinity. He spoke to her mother, telling her, I don't like your boyfriend. He's violent. I don't want him around my daughter. Um, he called and made reports to CPS himself. Uh, he got into a physical altercation with Samuel, the man who murdered Trinity, allegedly murdered Trinity. Um, it's just he did everything he possibly could, and he's devastated. He's heartbroken. That was his baby. That was his world. And he spent a lot of time with her. He loved hanging out with her. He would take her on adventures. She liked to pretend to drive and sit on his lap. She They loved collecting little rocks together on their walks. Like he loved her. He adored her.
Yeah.
And he's
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't want to cut you off.
Oh, yeah. And the other thing is, I created a Facebook page to try and raise awareness about CPS corruption in Michigan. We want to ask them to just follow their own policies because lots of kids are being endangered because they won't follow their own rules. When a kid needs to be removed, they need to be removed. And even though foster care is not a perfect solution, it is better than where they are in some cases.
Right. Oh, yeah. I
And we're,
100% agree.
oh, yeah.
Absolutely. Definitely agree with you there. So let me ask you this. Let me see. Let me put you on the solo layout there. I don't have you on the screen or anything. I just have your name up there so you'll know again what your position with this story. I'm sorry, I'm getting tongue tied. Here's my whole thing. Like, there's a lot of fathers that go through this because generally speaking, when a man and a woman in our society in the United States have kids, the mother is usually assumed to have custody. Like, the male is not usually like if they decide to not be together anymore, it's usually not like a split custody thing. It's usually the dad is usually fighting for visitation to spend time with his kid, and like I say, it happens so often that we just naturally assume that here that was probably the case.
Yeah, that's exactly what the case was. He and Justine, Trinity's mother, had actually had children in the past that were removed from her care.
Oh,
And he
wait, wait,
tried
wait,
to be
wait, wait,
involved in their lives as much
wait,
as he
wait.
possibly
Can
could.
you say that again? Say it a little bit slowly for me so I can make sure and absorb what you just said.
So, my brother and Trinity's mother actually had children in the past. They had two children together, and she had another one that I think wasn't his. And she no longer had them at the time. And Trinity was born a few years later. My brother fought to be on the birth certificate. He really did everything he could, but she just prevented him with every step of the way.
Let me ask you this. That brings in a very devastating dynamic because, and I didn't know how you were going to feel about this because I personally feel that the mother contributed to the murder of this baby. Okay. And I know that when I talk about these stories and I give an opinion, and a lot of times people can't differentiate when I'm giving an opinion when I'm talking about facts. My opinion is that this mother ain't shit. I
This mother
personally,
absolutely knew that her child was being abused. We have messages she sent back and forth with other people that I've posted on the page where she said, yes, he did hurt her before, referring to Trinity.
Do
But
you
I
mind if
never
I
thought
show
in a
those?
million
I actually
years
have
he
them.
would do this.
Do you mind if I show them on the screen?
Yeah, absolutely.
Go ahead and tell me about those texts while I show them on the screen so everybody can see them.
They were sent
I've,
to a member of Trinity's team, someone on my page, and they were given to me. And this is where Justine, Trinity's mother, says, I knew he had hurt her before, but I never thought in a million years he would do this. Now, for me, I'm a mother, and my daughter was abused in Michigan. Her abuser is still not arrested, by the way, which is, I mean, I'm calling for the arrest of Justine because this is just egregious. This is disgusting. How can you let someone hurt your baby even once? I would
yeah.
have run. I would have given her to someone. You have to do anything you can to protect your child. And she just so casually says, yeah, he hurt her before.
One of the things that I talk about now, and I really appreciate you being so candid and even having the courage to come on here, because a lot of times people can be a little bit intimidated, but I'm always very appreciative when people take a little bit of courage and speak out, because one of the most important things I believe that we can do sometimes is just use our voices. That's why we have them. And I think
That's exactly
that
right.
that our words can have so much meaning. Like, words can literally cast spells. And I believe that we can use our voices for positivity. And I really wish that more people would come out and speak out. So here's my next question for you. What is
Okay.
the mentality of this mom, and why did the mom feel like her baby wasn't, none of her kids actually were more important than her own personal pleasures?
A friend of hers actually cared for Trinity for a good couple years of her life, and she was only 3. So I assume that she got this boyfriend and she wanted to play house and got her baby back from her friend. And my brother kept trying to be involved in their life, but she just shut him out because she wanted this guy, Samuel, her murderer, alleged murderer, to play father, to play dad in her life. I don't, it's so difficult. It
Yeah.
really is.
Yeah, and it's just like it's beyond me. Look, I could understand like if people don't get along and you're just like, you know what? Like maybe I thought I liked you and maybe a year later maybe I don't like you as much. If we're run off of our emotions, I get that type of thing can happen. But it's just like, damn, like we don't go pick a better candidate. We don't upgrade. We go pick like a dude that is already wanted on other criminal charges. Like, why would she go pick the worst candidate to be a person that is so called being a caretaker to this kid?
I'm not sure. And especially since my brother, had a good relationship with Trinity. He was in her life as much as he could be. He actually had her for a good part of 2020. And they just spent so much time together, and he was always posting about her. He loved her so much. And I don't understand why she needed to go find another father figure for her. My brother was more than enough, a great father. He did the best he could with what he had, and even though it wasn't much, and even though he wasn't allowed to do much, he loved her with all of his heart.
Okay, let me see. Let me ask you this real quick. Are you familiar with somebody who is named in the chat I am Wrath or something?
Yes, she contacted me, and she made a video for Trinity. A few days ago, she released it, and Trinity's mother, like Trinity's grandmother on the mother's side, is being really difficult and leaving her a lot of harassing comments.
Oh, okay. Okay. Let me ask you this, because I'm damn near scared to ask you.
Don't worry, you can't offend me. I've seen a lot in my life.
They say that they have video evidence of abuse. Now, I alluded to some things that could be a possibility, especially when you're talking about internal injuries, especially with a baby. And unfortunately, for what we do is we tend to highlight stories and things. We have a focus on our children because they can't speak for themselves, they can't defend themselves, and I believe that the only people that can give them a voice is these outside sources, people that care like us. So we've seen in a lot of situations where when the autopsy has come back, there have been signs or at least suspicions of sexual abuse. I'm
Yes, that
wondering.
is suspected here.
I'm wondering. So say that again for me. What'd you just say?
Unfortunately, it is suspected here. We haven't gotten confirmation yet, but it is a possibility. With what we know so far, which is so very little, it's definitely.
What do you either feel that they have captured on video as far as the evidence that they alluded to, or what do you know as far as that they've said that they have on video, or what did the video even come from? Did it come from like a cell phone or surveillance footage or what?
There's two possibilities as to the video. It might have been a cell phone video that he made because he had sent the mother a couple of videos that night of Trinity playing. There's also a possibility that it was caught on a live stream of his, that he was playing video games online and it might have been just caught on there. I'm really not sure which of the two it is, but it's likely one of those two.
And I'm gonna tell you, it's a really weird world we live in. A lot of things and I don't want to keep talking about other situations, but we've had situations where if the technology hadn't captured people doing heinous things in the act, we would have never have known a lot of these things are going on. And I kind of feel like it's not even on purpose. A lot of times it's like damn near by accident. It's just kind of haphazardly capturing footage of people doing messed up stuff.
Well, it could be divine intervention too.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Oh,
Unfortunately, that wasn't enough to save Trinity. She's gone, but I definitely want to see if I can protect the next child, and especially if her mother has yet another child. I don't want that to happen. So.
ooh, girl, you are giving. I'm sorry. I'm treating you like a friend. I called you ooh, girl. But here's my thing. I got so much that I want to say to you because it almost brought me to tears, especially if you can see my screen and you look at this baby's face. And I couldn't do anything except for get pissed off and just want to strangle somebody because I'm like, how on God's green earth can any human being come into a situation where they're doing an investigation and say, we're going to check and see if there's been abuse? Well, if you knew anything, like I would assume you'd have to have some type of training, whether you're the police or whether you're CPS. I've even watched a very short 2-minute training video that shows you how you can tell signs of child abuse. One of those things being marks behind the ears, on the face, black eyes. Like they give you certain areas where you can clearly tell there's been abuse. With this, it's like it's not even close. And
Anybody could see that, know what was
I
going on.
wonder
And
how
then
in the
the
hell.
most horrible part
I
is that
wonder how
so
in the
many people
hell.
knew.
How do they fail this baby when you have evidence that is that clear? What are your thoughts on that?
So many people knew. Her babysitter knew, friends of theirs, neighbors, even total strangers. Family reached out, tried to get help. These people, CPS, they're supposed to be protecting children. That's in the name. That's in the policies that they have. They need to protect children, but they're just not doing that. And I can't understand why. And I know it's been going on for at least 7 years because my daughter was abused in their care and custody. And it's horrific. Like anybody could look at that photo of Trinity in the pink shirt. It's burned in my brain. It's horrible. Anybody couldn't see that and know what was going on.
And it's so sad, and that's why I kind of believe in the importance, or not necessarily me putting an importance of what we're doing, but when people come in the chat and they say, "Hey, this changed my life." We had a lady that wrote in the very first story that we talked about that said they didn't like me at first as far as like my opinion. I have a very strong opinion, but it's for a reason. It comes from a very deep rooted history. But I have very strong opinions, but they actually said that they were able to save and keep their children safe because they chose to not date thugs. And I told people, thug doesn't have a color, it has an action. And
This
so
guy
with
was absolutely a thug. This Samuel, he was wanted on other charges. He had petty burglary and things going on. If she had run a background check or even Googled him, anything, she would have found out about him. So I think she knew what he was about, that he was a thug.
Here's where I kind of want to end our interaction, and I want you to kind of elaborate if you really want to. But let me ask you this. I think that alone should be an arrestable offense if you know. I'm not trying to get biblical on you. I'm taking it to so many different places. I'm sorry. But even in the Bible says that once you come into knowledge, you are then held accountable for what you know. Okay? So in a situation like this, let's just say even legally, there are laws in certain states that say that if you witness a crime and you don't say anything, you could actually be held liable for that crime. You could actually be arrested and charged. So in a situation where a mother has every opportunity, every free opportunity to do a simple Google search, a free background check, even a paid background check, look at it as an investment. But the fact that you know not only that this man has a violent history, which wasn't hard to find out, but at some point you knew, and then you actually had visual evidence on your own kid, and you knew that this man was being abusive to your kid. If you ask me, I think she deserves life in prison for the contribution to the death of her own daughter. What do you feel about that? What are your thoughts on that?
I wholeheartedly agree with you. At least the rest of her childbearing years. There's a law in Michigan called Dominic's Law, and it was made a few years ago about a very similar case, such as this. It was also torture and first-degree child abuse, and the mother, she got charged with second-degree murder, and she got 13 to 30 years. So I'm looking into that here, and I really want to make people aware of that that's a possibility. This seems like a very similar situation to what that poor kid went through. Mm-hmm. So we're gonna try and look into that and see if we can get the word out about that, and see if we can get people to look more at the mother.
Yeah, because like I say, I just think that if a father were in this position, if a father were putting their children in hurt, harm, or danger, that they would be held accountable regardless of who. Like I have this saying on my show, and it sounds a little harsh, but I always talk about how the mom decides to go to the thug zoo and then decide to go play with the thug lion, and you take your kid and you're like, oh, that lion looks so cute, I want to play with the lion, I want to touch him, look at his mane, he's so cute. And you take your child and put your child in the lion's den, and then the lion mauls your damn kid's face off, and then you're sitting there looking and throwing your hands up like, why would the lion do that? When in all actuality, it's the nature of what that lion does.
Exactly. And CPS is supposed to be the zookeeper. CPS is supposed to step in and take that child and make sure they don't get mauled by the lion.
Nice. I like what you said. I like what you said. Wow. Let me bring my sister Keyshawn in. She, if you don't mind, I'm gonna bring her in real quick. Go ahead. We could hear you. Or did you want to say something?
Can you hear me?
A little bit. Yeah. Go ahead.
Hold on. What's going on here? Can you hear me now?
Yeah. Go ahead. I can hear you.
Okay. I didn't really want to talk, but my condolences to you, Diamond, you and your family at your time of loss. I am Wes. I hit her by mistake, and Jay, she's in the chat, and she wants to talk to you. And I'm trying to get her to click on your stream rod.
Okay. Let me tag him real quick. Oh, there it is. I see it. I am. Diamond, do you mind?
Oh, that's fine.
Okay, I won't take up too much of your time. I'll give this person. So to I Am Wrath, clearly Diamond was able to figure it out really easily. With that StreamYard link, I just tagged your name in the chat. You just click that, and whatever device you're on, whether you're on a cell phone, tablet, computer, doesn't matter. If you click that link, all it'll ask you to do is type in a name, as long as you have access to a microphone, if you can hear off of it, especially if you're on a cell phone. As long as that green line goes up and down and I can hear your voice, click that link, we'll bring you right in. It only takes a second. You don't have to install any software or nothing like that. It's really, really easy.
I know the babysitter Ashley Brown was trying to get into the StreamYard thing.
Okay.
She might be having difficulty with it. She did email you guys.
Okay. Let me take a look and
And
see
so
if I
does
can find
Nina
it.
Renee would like to get in, but she says she has severe anxiety. She's afraid to come in. I told her
Look,
I
I
would be here if
understand.
she wanted.
Yeah, I understand it, and that's actually why I was commending Diamond, like I said, for just really just being fearless and just hopping on here and just being able to have a conversation. Like I said, it's not too hard, and I definitely don't want to make you feel uncomfortable talking about anything that you don't want to talk about, and just allow it to kind of be free flowing. And if you have a thought about something, even if you feel like I said something that you don't agree with, or if I said something that's just flat out wrong, you could always tell me.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure I got the part about my brother being innocent in all of this. That was my main point. But I did kind of jump into the deep end of the pool a couple weeks ago and spoke to Nancy Grace. So
Oh,
this is
okay,
a little easier.
okay. And I do. Okay, let me see. I'm not sure if that's them or not. Um, is that I am Wrath?
That's Miss Lakers. Miss Lakers, 824.
Miss Lakers, are you there?
I'm here. I
Talk
thought
to me.
y'all was
What,
looking
what's
for
what's going on?
somebody
Did you
else.
did you want to contribute to this? Because I didn't want to keep this open for too long.
Oh no, I thought you was going. You go ahead and finish that. I thought I didn't know you was taking that fast. Go ahead.
Oh, what did you want to say?
No, I come in. Go ahead and finish that. It wasn't about that story. It was just in general.
Okay, okay, all right. Well, I'll open it up after we finish with our stories and stuff. Okay.
All right.
Okay. Okay. Now I just sent an email to that person. I want to make it clear that we called and reported together for Trinity. Okay, so this is about Trinity. Okay. So I did send them the link, so we'll just see what happens. Like, even if we have to, we'll come we'll revisit this, okay?
Okay,
But
and
but
I'll be available
but
whenever you do.
okay, is there anything else that you kind of want to share with the audience? Because, like I said, we'll leave this video up in its entirety. But if there's anything that you want to share with anybody that's listening, we've been more than happy to let you give your closing thoughts.
Thank you. Thank you for all of your thoughts and prayers. I really appreciate it. This has all been really hard, especially right before Christmas or the holidays. I want to make it. I want to ask you all to join the fight for Trinity. The more voices, like you said, your words can be a spell, can have so much power. And I would like to invite anyone to come to the Facebook page and share your words and see if we can make change happen in Michigan for
Okay, and would you
Trinity.
and would you
Thank you.
remind them again if you would? I'm gonna put it on the screen, but remind them where they can find that Facebook page.
Sure, it's called MICPS Reform Justice for Trinity Raine.
Got it right there on the screen.
Uh,
So you guys should be able to follow that. And when you join that, make sure to let them know that you came by way of the AFC, the Advocates for Children. And just like I say, any type of way we can be of assistance, we'd be more than happy, even if it's just to share some information.
Thank you so much for sharing awareness, and I will share your videos as much as I can. I really appreciate you having me on and allowing me to share my thoughts about this.
It's my absolute honor. Thank you so much.
Very welcome. God bless you.
God bless you guys too.
Okay. All right. Let me bring in the person I just emailed. Would you like to give a name?
Ashley,
Okay. What would you like to contribute to this particular story?
I wanted to say thank you very much for airing this story. I wanted to make clear that Sky is my sister, and we both had made the call for October 7th. I know it gets kind of confusing with everything. Trinity was my daughter's best friend, and in August, when I had seen what looked like the aftermath of Two Black Eyes, I was fed I had no reason to doubt anything because Sam had fed me some BS story. And I now know that that is BS, but I had pretty much warned him that day that if something was happening to her, that they were going to be in a lot of trouble. And it's really hard for me to talk about. I don't want to cry or anything, but
I got you.
when I
Can we pause just for a moment? When you were saying like you were given an initial story about a particular set of guys, even like to a point where you had a description?
So no, he's just said that he didn't know what happened. He wasn't there. I worked with him, and at that time he was working a lot. I was working a lot of open to closes, and I was his ride back and forth to work.
Okay.
And when he told me that he wasn't home and neither was Justine, they didn't know what happened, and it didn't make any sense. Trinity would say, and I'm not trying to make Dad look bad at all because I don't even know who Dad is. I've never met him. But Trinity, when she was at my house, even if she fell in the other room and we asked her what happened, she would always say, "My daddy said I hit the wall."
Oh my
And
god! Oh my god!
we would be, that to us sounded like she was being coaxed to say that because she would say it no matter what happened. But we had no proof of anything. They weren't people that I trust enough to have my kids around, and I didn't really hang out with them. But I had helped Samuel get a ride back and forth to work because we worked together. My sister had started babysitting, and after that I had told her about what I had seen and told her to keep an eye out because I was alarmed, and I found out later on that somebody else had made a report in August for those two black eyes, and it wasn't just black eyes on her. There was bruises too, and CPS did not remove her.
Okay. Oh, you said black eyes. I thought you said black guys. That's why I was like, what?
No,
Like, I was
sorry,
like, what did I
black
miss?
eyes.
Okay. I'm
She
sorry.
had, when I had seen her, it was fading. It was like going away, but to me it looked like two black eyes, like an aftermath of two black eyes, like they were healing. But I don't know. When I came home from work in October, my sister had sent me some messages with Trinity looking like that, and she said, "I don't know what to do." I asked her what happened. She told me the same that she always says, and we knew at that time that Dad wasn't around because we were told by Sam that they weren't letting Dad come around for whatever reasons. And so I knew that couldn't be Dad. I knew it had to have been Sam that did it. And that's, I had told her, don't let Trinity leave. Wait until I get home so I can see her in person. Because sometimes pictures, you just don't know, but I can tell you that those pictures don't even justify the way she looked in October. And that's the ones that are on the news with the bruises on her face.
Mm-hmm.
She, when I got home from work that day, I wanted to puke when I saw her. So I called the police, and the police had come out later that night and spoke to us, and we had stressed all of our concerns because there was no bruises or anything before that for us to report. But the way she would cry when it was time to go home made us suspicious. The way she would say, "My daddy said I hit the wall," when she would fall and like right in front of us. For one, I have a 3-year-old daughter. She actually just turned 47 minutes ago.
Mm-hmm.
But if she was to fall or something, she's going to tell me, "Mommy, I fall." If she tripped, she'd say, "Mommy, I tripped," or this. She's not going to say, "My mommy said this is what happened."
Right.
And we stressed that to the police, and we stressed everything we could. But earlier in the news thing, and when you were saying that, it made it sound like there was 2 separate reports by us. We made the same report, both me and my sister, that day. But we hoped that they were going to do something. We were not the only ones that had told the police and stuff that we feared for her life, and nothing was done.
Look, let me say this, not only to you, but also to Diamond and everybody else that was involved. And I hope you kind of hear me. with your heart. And I continue to say this, is that the responsibility and the safety of these children generally should fall on the biological mother and biological father, because they're the ones who create the children, and they are the ones that should make sure to provide for these children. And we have safe measures in place like CPS and neighbors and friends and family and stuff like that to hopefully prevent these terrible things from happening. You know what I mean? But what I can say to you and to everybody else that did make the reports is that you guys did do something. You saw something, you said something, and you did what you legally could do, because we never advocate for people breaking the law. You know, for situations, if people deem it to be necessary to do something otherwise, I get it, but I never want to advocate for people breaking the law. But I do commend you guys for at least doing your part, and that's really all you can do. Because like I say, the onus doesn't fall at your feet. The onus falls on you to take care of the creations that you've brought into this world, your children. And if you are able to look out for others and use your voice and speak out, or to be able to use your resources, use the police, use the CPS, then, you know, like I say, all I can do is commend you for at least doing that. You did your part, and you should hold your head high with a lot of pride for doing that.
Thank you. I also wanted to say that that day my sister sent pictures to Trinity's mother, and this is partially why I believe that she knew something was happening. I have more confirmation after that, but I can't say to that because it wasn't like anything that I have proof of. But my sister did send messages of those pictures to Trinity's mother that day, and her mother asked what was on Trinity's face, and my sister responded with everything that Trinity had said. Trinity had also said that day, because my sister was like, honey, this doesn't happen from hitting a wall. What happened to you? And she said, Moo hurt me. And Moo is what she would call Samuel. And my sister asked her, why did Moo hurt you? And she said, because he's grumpy. And we told the police that too. And she told Justine that too. And Justine blew it off, pretty much saying, oh, I swear she's always hitting walls. And then she got more concerned about the clothes Trinity was wearing that day. Like she was changing the subject.
Wow. And I also have another saying when I say that kids don't lie. Babies don't lie. And the reason I say that is because children have to learn the value of lying. They have to be taught the value of lying, because otherwise they'll be flat out honest. And I hate to see when people rob children of their innocence in so many different ways. Let me close out and give you not only an opportunity to give your closing thoughts, but you heard what I said to Diamond. And if you didn't hear what I said to Diamond, I felt like the mom should be held just as accountable as the boyfriend for putting her baby in this situation. What are your thoughts on that? And would you like to give your closing thoughts?
I 100% agree that she should be held responsible, because she knew. And even if, let's say she didn't witness anything, then I'm not saying that she did or didn't, because I don't know. But if my child was with somebody and there was CPS, there was any kind of markings or anything, I'm going to question it. And if I was to believe them the first time, I'm not going to believe them the second time. I don't even know that I would believe them the first time. And especially after the whole August thing with the 2 black eyes, and then us reporting what we reported, I agree that there's no way you didn't see. It was a clear handprint on her face. Somebody squeezed her face really tight. My 10-year-old son knew that wasn't normal and not okay. And we live too close. Now my son has to be kept close to home because I don't feel safe. She wouldn't protect her child. What's to say if my child was out and something happened? You know what I mean? I don't even she 100% needs to be held accountable.
Yeah, I agree. Is there anything else that you'd like to share?
I would just like to thank you. This made me really happy seeing her story go out, because the whole reason we spoke out was so that she's not just swept under the rug like a lot of other kids. And we're really hoping to make a difference and help this stop from happening.
Yeah. Okay. Well, look, I want to say thank you so much, not only for, for even tuning in however you were able to find this show, but thank you for even having the courage to speak on the facts and things that happened in this situation. But thank you really for just coming in and just sharing with us. Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Guys, wow. I can't thank y'all enough. Not only thank the young lady that was just on here, but I want to say thank you to Diamond in the chat as well. Like, I don't even need to play the rest of the news videos, but let me give you guys my closing thoughts. And again, I will reiterate that I feel like the biological mother should be held just as accountable. And for the life of me, I don't understand how we can be in society and put our children in dangerous situations, and somehow the infallible ones, the custodial parents, aren't being held accountable, and that just can't continue to keep happening. The way that I believe that we get change in our country, in our cities, in our states, in our county, and our world is to hold people accountable, especially when they are guilty, especially in this situation, accused and guilty of harming and neglecting and abusing those who cannot speak for themselves and those who cannot defend themselves. To young baby Trinity, she didn't deserve this, and she deserves so much better. That baby's face, that baby's skin was a plea for help. And everybody else outside of that household did all that they could, and I commend them for doing so. But the failure is on the mother and on the boyfriend, and I hope not only are they held accountable in the court of law, but guess what? One thing that mom can't dodge, she might be able to dodge a court in this life, but oh, there is a special place in hell for that mom and the boyfriend for what they did to that angel right there. Baby Trinity, 3 years old, young princess, R.I.P.